We wanted to talk to Kim Kobel with the Boulder Police Department. And Kim, what can you tell us? Set the scene for us and what you guys are dealing with.
We've been dealing with significant rain over a number of hours, as you know. We've got significant street and creek flooding. We have intersections which are flooded. Some of the water is receding now, but it's leaving debris, et cetera, that still needs to be cleared. Some of the water was so high in some places that one residence actually had water up to the first floor windows, and emergency personnel had to go in and rescue a couple of people out of that house. And those are the kinds of calls that we've been handling today. Stranded motorists, people in residences which are being flooded. And so basically what we're doing now is our officers are starting to assess what intersections need attention, whether cars need to be towed. There are some places where the water was so high that it picked up parked cars and floated them to other intersections, and so they're piled up right now. So we're trying to get a handle on that. We are asking people to not come to Boulder if they don't need to sort of consider this a snow day, because we need to do some assessments, we need to do some cleanup, and as you just heard in the weather forecast, we're in for more of the same weather today. So Boulder County offices are closed, city facilities are closed, and basically non-essential personnel from the city of Boulder are being told not to come in. Boulder Valley School District is closed, and so is the St. Vrain School District. So again, we're trying to get a handle on it. There was one fatality in Jamestown. I don't have a lot of details on that, but this is the kind of situation that is going to continue throughout the day, and we're asking people to maybe make a trip to Boulder on a different day if they can possibly do that.
And Kim, you mentioned that there have been some rescues you guys have been working on, and I wanted to ask you about the evacuation plan. Do you recommend people trying to find one of the shelters right now with the water looking like it does?
Right now, we have a shelter open at the YMCA, and that's at 28th and Mapleton. We've actually had some issues. We have places where we normally will shelter people, like one of the Boulder rec centers, but we've had issues because those places have been flooded, or the roadways getting to those places have been flooded, and people couldn't get to them. So it has been a little challenging for us to even get that set up. Now, the 4 Mile Burn area was evacuated yesterday evening, and that was a mandatory evacuation. And one of the difficulties there for us was, at the Emergency Operations Center, we were trying to give people evacuation routes and escape routes. And there were mudslides in that area that were pouring, 2 feet of mud into the roads, and the roads were just impassable. So we were basically telling people to just go high and get away from the floodwaters. So it's been a dangerous situation out there. In Boulder, we've had some swiftwater rescues. We called in our dive team. We have extra personnel, fire, police, et cetera. We held people over from shifts. We've called people in early because we know that this is going to continue throughout the day, and we're not finished handling this at this point right now.
Kim, at this moment, we're looking at video from 7th and Pleasant. It looks like a river running by, a stop sign right there. And I'm wondering, where is your biggest trouble spot at this hour? It's just not quite 20 minutes after the hour, 5 o'clock in the morning. Where's the biggest trouble spot in Boulder from your standpoint?
I think 7th and Pleasant is one of those areas. University from 6th to 9th has water and debris in the road. Broadway and Iris is impassable right now because of debris. 28th and Spruce is underwater, and that's the area where there are some abandoned vehicles in the intersection. Arapahoe and Foothills, we've got traffic lights that aren't working, and so again, we're trying to assess that. We've also had some trouble down at the Boulder Public Library area. That parking lot was underwater at some point, and that is an area where a lot of the homeless and transients tend to congregate. So that was a challenge for us earlier this evening, too, warning them to get out of that area because that's right along Boulder Creek. And one of the other issues we've had, and we see this every time there is a major weather event, people, rather than staying home or taking the advice from emergency responders, they want to go out and they want to see it for themselves. And we actually had people trying to inner tube down 7th Street, and it's really dangerous. It may look fun, but that water can be swift. There's a lot of debris in the water, and there are other things in the water that I actually don't want to mention on here. So it's really not safe to go in to the water. And also, you're putting yourself in jeopardy, and you're putting emergency workers in jeopardy who may have to rescue you. And our dive team has been out several times to rescue some stranded motorists.
And speaking of this situation, Kim, for folks that are in Boulder right now watching us at home, they did not evacuate their homes. If they start to see some water coming in their homes, what is your advice for people right now in your area?
We don't know what the weather is going to hold today, so people need to go with their gut and use their common sense. If they've got water flooding their home and they're concerned, they need to leave. And the best advice is to get to high ground. We are opening that shelter at the YMCA. Again, that's at 28th and Mapleton. But if these floodwaters are coming down into areas such as El Dorado Canyon, had a lot of flood issues this evening as well. You need to take your personal safety seriously, and there may not be time to gather your belongings, etc. And so you need to get out. And again, climb high, try to get somewhere, if you have time today to get out of Boulder, as these storms give us a little bit of break in between, that would be a good time to do that. But, we are doing reverse notifications where we need to. That happened in the 4 Mile Canyon area. We will let people know if they need to evacuate. But again, flash floods are tricky because they can happen very quickly, and we may not have a lot of time to warn people. So I think today my advice would be, be ready for the worst, plan for that, and we'll hope for the best.